Wolfgang, where you at, man?
The film debut is coming up.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
How y'all doing? If you can please introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'm Wolfgang Amadeuz, the producer, director of Set in the West. And
Oh,
yeah.
it's a pleasure to have you in the house.
And of course, we got the brother Klass One in the
Oh,
building
the
too.
homie's back. You know, it's that old school junkie from the Liquor Crew, B Swap Me, Universal Hip Hop Museum, Klass One. Oh man, feels
The
good to be
Hip Hop
back.
Museum. Yeah, man. Klass One once again. It's been a minute, but it's nothing new. You've been up here countless of times
Yeah, dude.
in the last 10
Like I
years.
said, it feels good to be back.
Yeah, man. So what's good with Set in the West? It sounds real dope. It's a film about hip hop in L.A.
Yeah,
the
pretty
history.
much the origins of LA hip hop. We know everything, about New York. Everybody knows 1973, August 11th, Kool Herc, Bronx, Sedgwick. We know that, but not too many people know about Don Campbell starting the dance called the locking over at Trade Tech College, which predates New York 1973. He started that in 1969, July. In fact, about 50 years ago.
Oh man.
So we got that. We got him in there. We got Lonzo from the World Class Wrecking Crew.
Oh.
He discovered Dr. Dre. If it wasn't for Lonzo, we wouldn't have Dre. We wouldn't have Eminem. Wouldn't have 50 Cent. So this is just the origins of LA hip hop, the innovators.
So tell me what inspired you to start creating this, because I'm sure it took a process. So if you could tell us how long it took you to do this and what really inspired you to want to get into doing a subject matter like this.
Yeah, man, no, it took a while. The inspiration was just seeing, being a part of the culture, having so much documentation on LA hip hop. I mean, on New York hip hop, but not a lot on LA. So that was the inspiration. I said, well, let me go ahead and talk to the OGs while they still here. Let's go get some photos, some video, and some interviews of all the OGs that were part of Uncle Jam's Army, World Class Wrecking Crew. Talk to Don Campbell. Just talk to a lot of the OGs that were a part of bringing, hip hop. They coined it hip hop in 1973, but it was going on out here before. So that was inspiration. Just like there was nothing that I've seen, no books, no documentaries on LA hip hop.
And see, when they talk about the history of LA hip hop, they go back to Club Unity. Pretty much, from late 80s to early 90s. But the thing is that hip hop's been going on since late 70s, early 80s with Uncle Jam's Army, Club Radio, World Class Wrecking Crew.
Was dancing the original element?
Yeah, our
LA, yes.
Yeah, our first element. We know there's 5 elements in hip hop.
So,
our first element is dance.
So, like New York was b-boying.
Oh.
And LA was locking, which turned into pop locking over the years. So there's just a couple of things that, for some odd reason, folks, either they forgot or they don't know. They never touched on the events they used to take place in LA. They turned into hip hop culture. So with this documentary, we just want to remind people how it all began in LA.
Yeah.
And the phrase right here, hip hop rose out the east, but set in the west.
Heavy right there.
Yeah.
The title, once again, of the film is Set in the West.
Yes, indeed.
And you guys can check the premiere, the West Coast official premiere is going down June 29th, 2019, 4 p.m. at the Los Angeles Film School, 6353 Sunset Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90028.
Yes, indeed.
That's, Saturday, June 29th.
Yeah.
4 p.m.
And this film is so perfect for anybody that is really into the history of LA hip hop, or just old school hip hop. Period.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect film.
Yeah. So I know a lot of cats will be like, okay, NWA is like when LA hip hop got put on the map, but what would you say? That's like late 80s, but you guys are saying it's more like late 70s when the dancing was going on. World Class world famous Wrecking Crew. That was what, early '80s.
Yeah, early '80s. See, yeah, Don. I mean, well, I keep saying Don Campbell because he's the spark, but you got to give it up to Roger Clayton and Lonzo. Well, Roger Clayton started the Nighttime Players, and then they became Unique Dreams Entertainment, and eventually became Uncle Jam's Army. Uncle Jam's Army gave NWA that platform to become NWA. So they were putting in work.
Happen overnight.
Right. They were putting in work
like
for
NWA
years.
Created one album overnight.
Right. Yeah. They took the template of what Uncle Jam's Army and Roger and them were doing when they were putting out their records, getting them pressed up, pushing them out themselves. Easy and them, they saw that, and that's how they got, that's the inspiration.
That's why, in a way, Q kind of pay homage, because if you remember the movie Straight Outta Compton,
oh, yeah,
they have the Uncle Jam's Army poster. Right before the show.
Right. So yeah.
And my man Wolfgang Amadeuz also directed the film, produced it, did the editing on it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So please talk about that, man, that experience, because I know that's not something that's very, very easy to do.
Well, I got to give it up to people who helped me behind the scenes. I had a few students from Cal Arts and at LA Film School help out, with the sound and all that as well. But I mainly did the editing and just all that heavy work. What they say, master of none, jack of all trades, master of none.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but yeah,
I feel that
from concept, on paper with the you have that long board and which direction, which topics we're going to talk about, from that to finalize everything. It was a task. It was a task, but definitely it was a passion project, really, because we had to do this. I mean, we got to do this. We got to tell our story. So
it's time.
Once again, set in the West, the film, the world premiere, film debut, Saturday, June 29th at 4 p.m. at the Los Angeles Film School on Sunset Boulevard, 6353 Sunset Boulevard, Saturday, June 29th. And who do you feel like you're trying to reach with this film? Like cats who have that appreciation and history of hip-hop, or new cats who are like, man, I don't even know. Like they think old school is like 2000 or something. They think hip-hop started with Lil Wayne or something.
No,
we trying to reach.
We're trying to get everybody, because see, look, this is a good point. Like if your OG or your uncle 50 years old, he probably was a part of Uncle Jam's Army.
Yeah.
And he could tell you some stuff about what was going on back then. Or if you up and coming new school, I mean, you should know your history anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty much it could be a conversation piece for millennials to talk to their OGs and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get everybody.
Nice. Why do you think it's so important to know the history?
Well, you gotta know who paved the way.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Especially you're from LA.
Yeah.
You have to know who paved the way for. If you're an MC, a DJ, a graph writer, b-boy, a popper, it's always good to know who's the ones that did all the footwork to establish the craft. So it's like Uncle Jam's Army. If there was no Uncle Jam's Army, there wouldn't be no Beat Swap Meet.
Mm-hmm.
If there was no world class wrecking crew, there wouldn't be no rap shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if there was no Uncle Jam's Army, there'd be no raves. You know what I'm saying? The template, the whole thing about the movement about raves really came out of what Uncle Jam's Army did. They sold out the LA Sports Arena.
Wow.
They sold out the sports arena back in the early 80s. So we got all that in the film. And you could go to setinthewest.com to get tickets. You could also pre-order the documentary. And if you pre-order the documentary, you could qualify to come see the project in 2 weeks on the 29th at LA Film School as well.
And see, and this is just the first edition.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of like an intro for more to come.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty about this film, because when Dr. Funkenstein from Uncle Jam's Army, when he called me to help promote, once I saw the film, it was exactly what I've been wanting to do. So when I had a discussion with Wolf about expanding it, it just fits so perfect. So with this film is an intro for other topics to come in, because you know you can only fit so much in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
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 You know, there's so many pioneers, West Coast pioneers, so many b-boy crews and popping crews and DJs. You know, and it has to be like volume 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on.
Yeah, all day. Yeah, and you know, shout out to all the OGs. You know, I got the blessings from a lot of the OGs who saw it. We did pre-screenings and stuff, and they love it. They love what we're going with it. Battlecat said he loved it. And yeah, this is what we got to do. So yeah, and we're not just, you know, gonna touch up on. Well, we're gonna touch up on everything, man. This is just like tip of the iceberg with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're looking forward to pushing the line, man. And it's really for the culture. It's really for hip hop culture.
That's real. Once again, it's the website is setinthewest.com, and you've also gotten some awards here, like what, Hip Hop Film Festival 2019.
2019.
Independent.
Yeah. New York.
Aphrodite Film Awards.
Yeah, we became finalists in Aphrodite Film Fest, and yeah, it's been making a little noise in the circuit.
Oh, and is it like you submit to those film festivals, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope. Nice. So that's always dope to see films like this, documentaries like this that we love as hip hop heads, like get that international recognition or get that film festival recognition. So
Yeah.
Set in the West is what y'all want to go check out Saturday, June 29th, once again. And setinthewest.com is where you can get more info and tickets. And it's going on at the Los Angeles Film School Saturday, June 29th, 4 p.m. Your afternoon session right there.
Yeah, all day.
It's time, man. It's time for us in the West Coast to tell our story. Because man, New York, they've been going in, sharing their history, and it's time for us to start sharing our history.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why big up to the homie DJ Bonds for his Elements documentary.
Yes.
That was an awesome documentary, and it's time, and it's time for us to start letting everybody know what we did out here.
And you will be able to listen and talk to it. Well, we're going to have a Q&A at the end of the premiere at L.A. Film School with, Lonzo will be there, Siddiqui Bakari, Disco Daddy, the first rapper to get a record deal on the West Coast. He'll be there. General Jeff. Those who don't know, General Jeff is a legend.
Yes.
With Rodney Ojo Cooley. Lester Malone from Uncle Jam's Army, he'll be there as well. So, yeah, you will be able to talk to the living legends at the premiere. So,
Was there a specific moment while doing this film that really stood out to you?
a specific
Or
moment.
like a gem or like an element, that conversation with somebody or an interview that you did that was like, this is powerful right here.
Yeah, talking to Don Campbell. Because there was a lot of stuff that I didn't put in the documentary. Don Campbell came out to Trade Tech and spoke to the students about his impact on the world and what he did. That he started right there on campus with the whole locking, and he just he laced me with some stuff, and also Egypt. There's an interview with Egyptian Lover in there. He laced me with some good information
That's
too,
gonna be heavy
man.
right there.
He talked about how he started with Uncle Jam's Army and how he started his own thing, and y'all really got to check that story out because that's very inspirational. All this is inspirational. All these cats just self-motivated entrepreneurs, creative. And they're just telling you how they got down, So, but yeah, I would say with Egypt and with Don Campbell, just both those interviews in that project, man, they really dropped it.
And the film is called Set in the West, the Genesis of L.A. Hip Hop, going down. The world premiere, film debut June 29th, 2019, at the Los Angeles Film School, 6353 Sunset Boulevard. 90028, and of course you can pick up the tickets officially at setinthewest.com.
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 Follow on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes.
Set in the West Doc. Set in the West DOC. And like I said, if you really want to see it, we're gonna do we're doing pre-orders now, so you can pre-order and you can come check it out on the 29th as well. So we will be doing more screenings around maybe Vegas. We're working all that out right now, but we're gonna be doing more screenings of it in the future.
Oh man, so big shout out for letting folks know a lot about the history of West Coast hip hop.
Yeah, man.
LA hip hop, because you know what I mean. Like, I like to think I know a lot. I know my history, but there's a lot of people, a lot of things I don't know about, or you know that artists don't know about. So this is a little history lesson for y'all. Set in the West. Is again, hip hop rose out in the East, but set in the West.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
You know, and
Good phrase.
a lot of us, you know, we grew up in the 80s, so we're pretty much familiar with it, with Uncle Jam's Army and so on. You know, it's like for like you guys you know, remember what's your experience of the old school days?
Man, I mean, Elements, like you said, Elements just created a documentary, but I remember going to Elements shows right there on Melrose and seeing like Black Star and you know the Visionaries and but I'd say like the 90s for real. Like for me, the high school years was like late 90s. So but a lot of those current artists had me going back and checking for you know the Gang Stars and the like cats that I didn't necessarily grow up listening to, but that were 10, 20 years before, or you know I grew up jacking tapes from my older cousin, NWA, Too Short.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So, and that was, again, like cassette tape days. So, hip hop goes back. Like, you know what I mean? Music, the history goes back. So, like y'all said, it's good to know the history. It's important to know that. So, some of y'all newer cats, or like I said, millennials, like, you know, go back and check for quote unquote the old school,
Right.
old fools,
Right.
like you said. Well, they're still alive too to hear from a lot of these cats. That's important.
That's the whole
priceless.
purpose of the film, to let everybody know how I don't really want to say, what's the term I'm looking for? You know, so you guys can help me out.
Like what? Like you're saying?
Again, because you know, like a lot of these youngsters, you know,
Say what's on your mind.
they think about Elements and Club Unity,
Yeah.
but yet they don't know about the Uncle Jam's Army
Uncle
events,
Jam's
the
Army.
Radiotron, the Club Radio,
Oh, yeah,
the
the
Ultra
radio.
Wave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ultra Wave.
You know, because you know they weren't around,
Yeah.
Right.
so they never experienced that
Yeah.
lifestyle.
For myself, I couldn't have gone to those shows at 5 years old and 6 years old. But like again, like I know they were going on, or like I said, I learned about it a lot from some raw hip hop that was new, but that made me want to study history. That made me want to study the people they grew up off of. So, but Klass, I always thought like you're an old school history cat, but you don't seem too old. I mean, not to date yourself, but like, what motivates you to, you know? It seems like you always like, nah, I'm gonna represent for people who've kind of been overlooked, but are pioneers, who are trendsetters, who have paved the way.
Well, to start, you know, like I tell everybody, I grew up, you know, with that lifestyle. You know, I grew up when we used to walk up down the streets with the boomboxes and all their shoulders. You know, my cousins, they were pop lockers, you know, breakers, you know, graffiti writers. So I witnessed all that. You know, I used to go with my aunt to drop off my cousins to Uncle Jam's Army events.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
Did you grow up in South LA, or where'd you grow up yourself?
In the 80s, it was in LA. In the 80s, it was on Crenshaw and Northern.
Okay.
And then in late 80s, throughout the 90s, South Central 61st and Avalon.
Damn.
But going back to Crenshaw, that was in the 80s. That was a hip hop environment, straight hip hop. So the way I got into hip hop, without knowing it was hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, I just saw a couple of dudes on the streets in the corner with the cardboard ghetto blaster, having a session, b-boy, pop locking session.
Yeah.
I heard electro funk music. I got hooked.
Nice.
Yo, Klass, you got to teach a class, man. That would be proper, man, because you got definitely you've got a solid sense of the history, and not only that, you appreciate all of it that came before. You know, you always come up here and drop gems for us too. Like you brought Disco Daddy up here, which was powerful, man. So big up to what you do and what you continue to do, brother.
Like I said, it's just important to acknowledge those that paved the way.
Yeah. No doubt.
And shout out to y'all, man. 'Cause look, I told you, man, I've been knowing about y'all since I had y'all. There's something in the seas CD, man. So I've been bumping y'all since like 09.
No, real talk. You really think about it. 30, 50 years from now, you guys, your platform, Breakbeats and Rhymes.
Yeah.
You guys are actually paying the way for somebody else.
Yeah.
Is gonna come up in the next 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to put y'all in Set in the West. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Real
Right.
talk.
Part two.
Real talk. Part 3, 4. We're gonna keep it moving.
Yeah, because one thing that separates you guys from everybody else is that you guys give the opportunity to an upcoming local rapper to come up to the show, talk about a little bit about himself. Name me a show that does that.
Right. Without the politics. Without the
Yeah.
So you guys are actually paying the way
Yeah,
right now
you-
as we speak.
Yeah.
Nah,
You
good
guys are
looking
continuing
out.
it, continuing
Yeah,
the whole hip hop, just
Yeah.
keeping it, man, keeping it going.
Yeah, it's
Good
funny.
look on that, man.
Sometimes, I don't even like to, I guess, put too much on that. Like,
Nobody does.
Live and whatever.
No, not like that, but you know what I'm
It's in the
saying.
blood, like it's
Yeah.
like it's natural. I think to wanna like shed light on some great music,
All day.
on the history, on the culture.
And see, and that's the exact same answer I get from the pioneers.
Mhm.
None of
You
that
know-
ever
you
crossed
know
their
what?
mind.
I'm a pioneer.
We're students.
There you go. See?
Nah.
We're students of like
That's dope.
Bobito and Stretch, the Wake Up
Yeah.
Show,
Mm-hmm.
Friday Night Flavors.
Mhm.
So this is kind of our contribution to what we've learned.
Yeah.
We're coming up on 10 years in November
Yeah.
on the
That's what's
FM
up.
airways, which is
Woo!
which
That's
is
what's up, man.
a good number to have is that 10.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's good that we were fans. We used to stay up late at night listening to all these joints, calling in, trying to win tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's a blessing to be able to give out tickets on our own show
Yeah.
to those that like to listen in on the late night tips. So I guess what goes around comes around
All day.
sometimes.
That's how it is. That's how it is.
Yeah, man. 2Max was showing us a lot of love the other day on that tip. Like, we grew up going to visionary shows and, like, after the show trying to chop it up with them and, like, yeah, man, like, we trying to, like, we rapping too. You guys are inspiring us. How do you guys do that? And then the other day he's saying, like, man, now I'm looking up to what we're doing with the music outlet, with the radio show outlet. So it's a blessing. There's a lot of good heat out there. Some new good music and classic joints, man, that go back from 20, 30 years ago.
Shout out to the Alcoholics too. They got an anniversary show coming up soon too, right, Class?
Ooh, next weekend.
Crazy.
Back-to-back shows.
Friday night in L.A. and then Saturday night in Santa Ana.
Perfect
Okay.
time to get drunk.
Uh,
I'm just
The
saying.
The licks. Were there any like radio shows you feel like that held it down, similar to like a Breakbeats and Rhymes that paved the way for artists?
Well,
and
actually, yeah,
whatnot? For radio stations.
and they're in this
Yeah.
film,
Set in the West.
1580 AM K-Day.
K-Day.
Yes.
All day. Yeah, we got
That
Russ
was-
Parr. We got Greg Mack in this project too.
Nice.
So yeah.
Nice.
I mean,
Dope,
you know,
man.
my era was like y'all with the Wake Up Show and
Yeah,
all
man.
that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Okay, so you're digging a little bit yourself into some history that maybe you didn't necessarily grow up with, but like
Yeah,
you're
all,
going back and
all
learning.
this is predating me. This was my
Okay.
sister's era, my brothers. They went to Uncle
Okay.
Jam's Army
Mhm.
and all that. I mean, we ended around the early to mid '80s. So and then that's around the time I can remember. Mixmaster Spade and just that early '80s LA stuff. But all this predates me. I'm born in the late '70s.
Okay.
So
Word up.
yeah, I ain't too
Youngster.
old.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Dope.
but no, yeah, all that, man. We got to put this, got to get this out there to the youth, man, because if you don't know your history, you don't know where you're going. You know what I mean?
And again, like I said, this one is just the first edition
Yeah.
for many to come.
Yeah.
And we have to be working on these projects because, yeah, we could talk about it, but if the pioneers are still around, why not have them
Mm-hmm.
share their stories?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. They would speak on it better than anyone else could. But that's Set in the West, world premiere film debut, going on Saturday, June 29th. That's in a couple weeks. Saturday, June 29th at 4 o'clock in the afternoon at the Los Angeles Film School, Sunset Boulevard in L.A., CA. Set
All
in the
day.
West.
All
So,
day.
Stay connected at setinthewest.com. or on the social media sites. Set in the West Doc. Yeah,
Alright.
man. Good looking out. Wolfgang for coming through.
Oh,
Class
man.
One for setting it up.
Appreciate y'all,
And
man.
for coming through once again.
Appreciate
And
y'all.
shout
man.
out to DJ Dr. Funkenstein,
Oh,
first generation
dang.
of Uncle Jam's Army,
Mm-hmm.
who helped on this project as well.
Oh,
Yeah, Dr. Funkenstein. I know you probably blazing one for the nation right now. So you know,
Yeah.
we
yeah,
got you.
man. Major respect and shout out to Funkenstein, to y'all, and to all the pioneers, man. Like, you know what I mean? I know it feels good for them to get credit and whatnot. I
Yeah.
think a lot of them need to like get paid, get their royalties
Mhm.
from some of these young cats.
Mm-hmm.
Go rush up on them.
Man,
but
no
until
kidding.
then,
I'm-
show some respect.
I'm so glad you brought that up because one thing about New York, they always show love to their pioneers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true that,
And
man.
it's time for us to show love to our pioneers out here.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yep. That's what we're doing. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
LA hip hop history is deep.
Yeah.
Lou Man throwing on some joints.
Man,
right
shout out
now.
to DJ Lou Man for
Man.
always
That's
killing
a
it,
good
man.
man.
That's slice right there, right?
That's
That's
brother
slice
right
from
there.
yep. That's that slice.
You know, and I'm
World class
not
wrecking crew.
ashamed to tell folks who I can inspire from.
Mhm.
And Lou Man,
Lou.
man, every time
Thank
that
you.
dude gets on the tables, makes me want to go back home and start practicing.
Thank you, man.
That's
Enough
dope,
respect
man.
to DJ Lou, man.
Yeah.
That's our brother right there, man.
Lou Man, Class One, Wolfgang Amadeuz.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Set in the West is the film once again.
Yeah, setinthewest.com. Y'all go check out, like I said, pre-orders, order screening, and yeah, we got you. You're gonna get a nice little history lesson, and it's not boring history. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
come check us out.
that's right. Breakbeats and Rhymes is what you're tuned into. Stay tuned for all of the above, as always on KPFK 90.7 FM Los Angeles and beyond. Shout out what North Carolina's tuned in tonight.
And
Woo.
Sydney.
Nice.
Area.
Yeah.
Janine, the homegirl who's always rocking with
Always
us, said
tuned in, man.
she
Much
used
love.
to go to Uncle Jam's Army at Sports Arena.
Oh yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what's
man.
up.
And yeah, Little Noel, what up? Out in Riverside, rocking with us. Uncle Mark. I wonder where Uncle Mark tunes in from. He's always rocking with us. Let us know where you from, our brother Uncle Mark. And yeah, stay tuned for more good music on KPFK 90.7 FM, LA.